Good evening. I'll call to order the Murray City Planning Commission for Thursday, June 5th, 2025. It's 6:34 p.m. Present tonight are Commissioners Pearson, Commissioner Kling, myself, Commissioner Richards. Zach on my left is from staff, Commissioner Rogers, Commissioner Hildreth, and Commissioner Hacker. A few reminders tonight. If you have a cell phone, please silence it. This meeting is being recorded for public record. So we welcome you tonight. We're grateful to have you here and participate in the meetings. Just a couple etiquette items. When the time comes to make a comment on the agenda item, we ask that you speak at the podium for the recording, and we also ask that you state your name and address for the minutes. Please limit your time to 3 minutes, and once your time is over, you are welcome to leave. We just ask that you do so quietly so we can continue with our remaining items. If you're viewing this meeting online on the live stream, the only way to make a public comment is to email the Planning Commission at murray.utah.gov. Unfortunately, if you post a comment on Facebook or YouTube, it will not be seen. So we have 6 agenda items tonight. The first 3 go pretty quick, and we'll start with agenda item number 1. Approval of the minutes from the Planning Commission meeting held on Thursday, May 1st and Thursday, May 15th, 2025. Have all the commissioners had an opportunity to review the minutes?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. Are there any changes that need to be made?
No.
All right, I'll ask for a motion.
Chair, I make a motion to approve the minutes of May 1st, 2025.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, I have a motion from Commissioner Kleen and a second from Commissioner Pearson. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Minutes have been approved.
I think we need to do the May 15th.
We need to do May 15th.
Oh, yes, I didn't mean to exclude the 15th. I thought they had to do
Oh, I'm sorry.
individually.
Okay, so I'll take a motion for the approval of minutes from May 15th.
Chair, I'll motion to approve the minutes from May 15th, 2025.
Is there a second?
Yes, I second.
Okay, we have a motion from Commissioner Rogers and a second from Commissioner Kling. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, both minutes have been approved. Any conflicts of interest tonight?
No.
No?
No.
Okay, thank
No.
you. Approval of findings of fact. Agenda item number 3, has everyone had an opportunity to review the findings of fact for the Gold Wills conditional use permit and the Aloha Tattoos conditional use permit?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, I will ask for a motion for, can I do both?
Yes.
Okay, I'll ask for a motion for both conditional use permits.
Chair, I
Chairman.
make a motion to approve findings of fact for both items, Gold Wheels and Aloha Tattoos.
Okay, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, I have a motion from Commissioner Kling and a second from Commissioner Pearson. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Findings of fact have been approved. All right, agenda item number 4, subdivision review. Zach Smallwood is presenting. Is the applicant here? Thank you. Go ahead, Zach.
Whoa, pardon me, that was very loud. Yeah, thank you, Chair. This is a preliminary and final subdivision review for the property at 4998 South Galleria Drive, also known as the Galleria property. So it's approximately 26 acres, currently operating as one parcel at this time. And their proposal is to separate this into 6 individual lots. This project was approved back in 2024, I believe August of 2024. And so this is just kind of the next step in that. This is not a re-review of the project itself, the design, the number of units, parking, et cetera, all that. This is really only just a subdivision review, so looking at how they propose to carve up the lots. As stated in the staff report, there is a potential for a sale of the property, a portion of the property to an interested party that could facilitate some of the development as well. It's located in the MCMU zone, which is the Murray Central Mixed Use Zone, as you can see here on the map. And here you can see the individual lots. So what I intended to do, and got too carried away drawing shapes for the next agenda item, so I didn't do it on this. But here is lot 1. Lot 2 is this kind of guy up here. Lot 3 is a tiny little guy just right here. Lot 4 is this big guy. Lot 5 is right here along Murray Boulevard, and then Lot 6 would be on the other side of Galleria Drive between Vine Street. So that's really all that this request is doing, is just reviewing the proposed lot lines, making sure they meet with the standards. The MCMU does not have a minimum lot size standard. If it did, this still would well meet. Almost all of them are an acre, so I'm sure they would meet. And yeah, so with that, we did send out 137 notices of the public hearing to all owners and affected entities within 400 feet of the subject property. And as of today, we did receive one phone call just asking for clarification, and we explained that this was genuinely just a subdivision. So findings here with the conditions, the proposed subdivision complies with the standards of the Murray Subdivision Code. The proposed lots comply with the development standards of the properties located in the MCMU, and the proposed subdivision is in harmony with the purpose and intent of the Murray City General Plan. So with that, staff is recommending that the Planning Commission grant the preliminary and final subdivision approval for 49th Street Galleria on the property addressed 4998 South Galleria Drive, subject to the 7 conditions. And with that, I'm happy to take any questions.
I had a question. Oh, sorry. So doing this, is there an intent to sell Lot 2? Or it says to develop, but is there an intent to sell?
I believe there is an intent to sell. I'll let the applicant speak to it a little bit more. I'm not sure how much I can divulge, so I don't want to.
Because it would
do any of
physically
that.
separate 1 and 3, and so I don't know how that would affect the development. And forgive me, I wasn't here for the original vote.
Yeah, no, you're totally fine. Yeah. 2 is largely the townhome portion of the project.
Okay.
That's what it mostly encompasses.
Do you know what's going in Lot 1?
Commercial.
Commercial.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
I think an important note is, even if we're told the intent to sell a property does not mean that they will sell the property. So I
Correct.
think we have to make a decision on this, I mean, regardless of their stated intent.
Understood, thank you.
Zach, the merits of each of these projects eventually, as they come forthcoming in terms of development, would be still reviewed, right? The 6 different
Depends.
lots.
So
project.
not necessarily, because the project was reviewed in August of 2024. So all these lots would still be subject to that review, which is their master site plan approval. If nothing changes with that proposed approval, then no, that wouldn't be seen here at the Planning Commission again. If they do make modifications to the architecture or the layout, or if they're increasing the number of units, or if they decide to subdivide further, that would have to come before this body.
So I wasn't here last year, but so this master site review at the time was when the 6 were aggregated.
They weren't
Lots.
aggregated, so it was always just one piece of property. It was just one large project.
That's what I mean, but now they're being perhaps sold off into 6 different lots, right? Or 6 different lots that could be 6 different projects.
So,
Do they have to still adhere to the master site review
yes, they do.
as to what goes in there and all the
Exactly.
rules?
Yeah, they're
associated
still
with
subject. So the master site review, that is the binding entitlement.
Uh-huh.
So it will be the same, no matter what, unless they come forward with an amendment to that.
it? Thank you.
Other questions? Okay. Thanks, Zach.
Thank you.
Will the applicant please come to the podium and state your name and your address for the record?
Hi, I'm Tyler Morris, work with Cottonwood Residential at 1245 Brickyard in Mill Creek.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Have you had an opportunity to read or review the conditions, and are you able to comply?
Yeah, as Zach said, this is all kind of the next step of a master site plan we came through in August. All of the conditions are kind of expected requirements of what's going on here. There's some utility relocation and just kind of following the steps to get the permits, so yes.
Thank you. Anything else you want to add?
I'm going to go back on this, if that's all right.
Mhm.
Yeah, so just to kind of follow up on what you all had discussed. So yeah, Lot 1 is, as per the prior master site plan, there's no intent to change any of that. Lot 1 is like a 10,000 square foot commercial building. Lot 2 is 76 townhomes. Lot 3 is 4 townhomes. Lot 5 is 12 townhomes. Lot 4, the big one, is like 350 garden-style apartments, like 3-story apartments. And then Lot 6 is, I think it's like a 170-unit podium building. So really what we want to do is, we would love for the commercial building to be owned by an owner-user who kind of is in that space and can own it and use it rather than us building it spec. It's just not something we do, and we think someone will care for it better that way. And then basically all of the townhome components, we think make more sense as for sale. Pulling them apart like this doesn't guarantee that they'll be made for sale, but it makes it possible. So rather than having 100 townhomes and 500 apartments for rent, we have 100, for sale townhomes that can be owner occupied and then do the rest of it for rent. But that's the intent. You never know as things go through, but this at least puts us in a position to sell those pieces to people who can ultimately be the end user.
Thank you. Helpful.
Yep.
Anything else?
That's it for me.
Okay, if there isn't anything else, I'll open up the meeting for public comment. You can go ahead and have a seat.
Thank you.
So if you'd like to make a public comment on this item, you can come to the podium now. State your name and your address, and please keep your comments to 3 minutes.
Hi, my name is Michael Todd. Gosh, I've been to, I think, 2 in a row now, and you didn't know me before that, so I don't regularly come. I don't have any problem at all with what they're proposing to develop. However, I do own the parcel that's labeled Desert Star Theatrics. We bought that years ago to originally build a theater on. And for a variety of reasons, we ended up locating on State Street instead. I have tried to negotiate a sale with both the Cottonwood people and at least one of their potential buyers with no success. My only concern is this. Again, I don't have any problem with what they're proposing to do at all, with what they're proposing to build. But we've had a heck of a time keeping this site anything but a homeless camp. And we've spent a lot of money trying to clean it up to sell it, and now the thistle have taken over again. But a year ago, it was scraped and clean and fenced and ready to go, and we thought we'd be able to incorporate it into this project, and we thought we almost did with one of their buyers, but excuse me, it hasn't worked out. So my only concern is if I'm unable to do anything with this property, which it doesn't look like I'm going to be able to do anything with this, at least not at this point. I don't have perfect vision, but it's going to go back to, it's going to evolve itself potentially back to a homeless camp. Nobody's going to win with that. So I would just say that and then leave it to your discretion as to what you might do with it. Or the thought of how Murray, how that 900 feet of frontage reflects on Murray and the neighborhood. I don't think anybody wins if it's taken over by homeless campers, which is what it's been, hundreds of them. Thanks.
Thank you. Any additional public comment? Okay, seeing none, I will close the public comment period and bring it back to the commissioners for any discussion. I don't know, Zach, are you able to speak to any of the concerns of Michael Todd or other options?
All I can really do is encourage more discussion between the applicant and any interested party, and working with Michael Todd if that's the route that they want to go. We're also very open to talking with Mr. Todd about options on the property. I know I've had some conversations with some people that have called and asked about what could potentially happen there. So yeah, we're always happy to have those discussions as well.
Zach, what are the dimensions of that particular piece of Mr. Todd's property? What does it generally allow for? It looks.
It would be just like the rest of the MCMU zone, so it would allow for a either residential project or mixed-use project. It is not on a principal frontage in the MCMU zone, which means it doesn't require commercial on that side, so it could be purely residential. It could be commercial if it want, or a mixed-use type project. So there's a few options there. It is a, I don't know how to, they're narrow or shallow, which however you want to define it and
Narrow.
look at it.
Okay, any other discussion, questions? Okay, if there is no additional discussion, I'll ask for a motion. Can you, Zach, bring up the,
Oh, yes. No. Okay.
Chair, I'll make a motion that the Planning Commission grant preliminary and final subdivision approval for the 49th Street Galleria subdivision on the properties addressed 4998 South Galleria Drive, subject to the 7 conditions.
thank you, Commissioner Pearson. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion from Commissioner Pearson and a second from Commissioner Rogers. Any discussion on the motion? Zach, can you take a roll call vote?
Commissioner Pearson.
Yes.
Commissioner Kling.
Yes.
Commissioner Rogers.
Yes.
Commissioner Hildreth.
Yes.
Commissioner Hacker.
Yes.
And Chair Richards.
Yes.
Thank you.
Congratulations, the motion is passed. Thank you for being here. All right, moving on to agenda items number 5 and 6. Zach will present those together. Or, no? Separately, sorry.
Just 5. Sorry, yeah, so agenda item number 5 are landscape amendments. This is a text amendment to the landscape requirements, allowing residents to qualify for the Utah Water Savers Rebate Program, and some minor clarification items that have been needing cleaned up in the code. So as part of this, we're adding 3 definitions, which I'll bring up here as well, that we discussed in the pre-meeting. So we have active recreation areas, activity zones, and lawn. In the pre-meeting, we had discussed having amendment, so if and when a motion is made, add an amendment to add turf grass, is that the right term? I think it's turf grass, I'll say it in a minute. And yeah, to the lawn definition. So overall, these are the cleanup ones. So back when we took a lot of paper plans, now our building division doesn't take any paper in at all. They're purely electronic building division. So we have not been enforcing taking 3 hard copies for quite some time. And hey, it'll save water, less paper. I don't know, does it take water to make paper? I don't know, never mind. That's something we can, yes. So, and just mentioning, shown on the appropriate application. So this references and it allows us to update applications as necessary, as opposed to written in code that requires heavy in-depth stuff when we want to make just minor modifications. Also, we had an exemption for a landscape plan not needing to be provided for single-family or two-family dwellings, but with the addition of the proposed amendments, we will need to see those at the time of the building permit, so we needed to strike that through. Also, one of the things is what happened when we wrote this code is that it required 50% of the landscape bed to be covered at the time of planting. So that ended up pushing a lot of plants to kind of compete, and a lot of them die, and then, I mean, that's probably over 100% at maturity, right? So we are now bringing that back down to what the industry standard is, which is 50% at maturity. So also updated some of the languages, or the language in what the landscape setback should be, just updated the code references. Some of them still said MU, which was the MCMU before that was changed. Then added the centers mixed use and village mixed use. Removed MCCD because that's going away to the form-based code. Hopefully, 2 weeks, I'll know for sure. So now we'll get into the meat of it. This is all the same, except, so in the commercial section is all required, and then down below in the residential section, everything above in the commercial section is required in the residential section, but then the addition of that little section in residential. So in lawn restrictions, it shall not be located in areas smaller than 8 feet in width, shall not be installed in park strips, paths, or slopes greater than 25% or a 4:1 grade, and areas not to exceed 20% of the landscaped area outside of active recreation areas. That is increased to 35% on residential in the front and side yards of new residential construction. So that's really the gist of it. We did send out notices to affected entities and posted on the city and state public meeting website. We did get a call from Granite School District just with a question. They were a little concerned about Cottonwood High. That has a lot of grass. I was like, you don't need to worry about it right now. You're allowed to maintain as you currently are. And that goes the same for pretty much everyone that currently exists. As long as you're not doing major updates or tearing your house down and building a new one, you don't need to worry about it. It doesn't affect you. So, findings, the proposed text amendment promotes water conservancy for both business and residential. It also has been reviewed to ensure that the health, safety, and general welfare of the community are maintained. We find that the proposed amendment does not conflict with any recommendation in the general plan, and the proposed amendment enacts policy goals stated in both the Water Master Plan and the Water Conservation Plan that was adopted by the council. So with that, we are recommending that the Planning Commission forward a recommendation of approval to the City Council for the proposed amendments to Chapter 1708 definitions and 17.68 landscaping requirements as reviewed in the staff report with that amendment. And I'm happy to,
I have a question.
for sure.
Zach, you showed commercial, changes in the code to commercial and to residential. However, it's only the residential changes that allow residential properties to apply for the Utah Water Savers rebate program, not the commercial.
Okay, it is both.
Is both of them?
Yep, they both can apply for it.
Okay, good.
We actually didn't have to do a lot of changes in the commercial one. It affected more residential, just by our landscaping standards currently for businesses. It didn't really add too much.
All right, thank you.
And to be clear to an earlier discussion, this applies going forward. It's
Going
not
forward for new
retroactive
construction.
to, it's new developments and so on.
Right.
Okay.
I have a few questions. If we don't do this, the only ramification is our citizens won't be able to apply for the program, is that correct? There's no
That-
other funding or anything for the city that we would be receiving by making these code changes?
Correct.
Is the 8-foot a requirement, or are we required to restrict it to the smaller than 8 feet, no turf, or is that something the city just decided to do?
That was part of the state requirements.
So that's part of the requirements,
Yep.
okay? Tell me if I'm wrong here, but I think the conditions where an existing house would comply would be a conditional use, a 50% improvement, or a site plan. Is that correct? Are those the three?
So that would be for commercial.
Oh, that's for
yes.
commercial, okay.
Yeah.
So for residential, what would be
New
the,
construction.
just new construction
Yeah.
of any percentage? So if I do a.
Yeah, new construction meaning like a new house. You tear down,
Okay, so if I
rebuild,
just
or new
add on to my
subdivisions.
house, make my kitchen bigger and increase the square footage of my house, would that trigger these requirements?
I don't anticipate it would. I would have to do some additional research, but I don't think it would trigger. Yeah, it wouldn't trigger it.
It wouldn't, so only new construction or a complete tear down?
Correct. Tear down, rebuild. Yeah.
Okay,
Or if they want to apply for this.
Yes.
sure,
Yeah.
okay. Are park strips required? Normally, are park strips required in Murray City?
Yes.
And where we have not required them, like, for example, I'm thinking of the
There's one.
Fish and Game
Yes,
property.
that's the one I was thinking of. Weird.
Is that because that's
Infill
an
subdivision.
infill subdivision
Yeah,
does not
that was to
require?
narrow the right of way a little bit and give a little bit extra so he could fit those lots in there. So that code allows for the omission of the park strip.
Could the city code be changed so that we don't require park strips in all of the city and still have citizens be able to apply for this program?
I would assume so. I really wouldn't be for that. I believe park strips serve a really good purpose in protecting pedestrians from vehicles with trees, landscape elements, things of that nature. So I wouldn't be in favor of that. And I don't think that would be good planning. But it's definitely an option.
Okay, so if I was in an infill area without a park strip, I could still get money under this program.
You could apply for it, for sure.
Even though I don't
definitely.
have a park strip.
I mean, yes, you could apply for it because technically, yeah, you're not going to have lawn in your park strip because you have no park strip.
Okay.
Yeah.
I guess my question is this a change that we're making for a few people and then limiting what everybody can do in the city? I understand the need for, making a change for more water-wise landscaping. I completely understand that. But I'm just wondering, are we making this change so 10 people can go get some money under this program, and now we've just limited what everybody else can do in the city?
I think as we continue to see water issues across the entire state, we had a pretty lackluster water year. I think you'll see people take advantage of this more. Back when we had the really bad drought before the really good winter, that was a couple of years ago, right? We were getting a few calls a week asking, hey, can I do this? And the water department would say, you don't qualify. Murray doesn't qualify. And had to turn them away. We were getting a lot of calls. So I think right now, we don't get a lot of those requests because we had a really good water year the year before right? And so it wasn't as front and center in the public's mind. But I think as water becomes a much more scarce commodity, I think you'll see this open that up. And then also I wanted to add to that, like, I think it would be a very different conversation if we were a high-growth community as well, right? Where it could have a lot of impact on new places. This, I don't think it's going to have, these requirements aren't going to affect a lot of people, right? We don't have a lot of open space where new development's going to go in and they're forced to do this. Or a lot of tear down and rebuilds. We don't have a lot of those. You guys see the size of subdivisions we get. We're nowhere like Harriman and Eagle Mountain that get 100 lot subdivisions that would be subject to this.
So, Jake, as usual, has me thinking, the people could apply for the water safe programs regardless of us having the requirements, or the requirements are conditional to getting those water safe?
They can apply for them, but they
Yeah.
will be rejected because the city does not have these standards.
Okay, so, I see. So the other part is, so is this a state requirement
So
that the city's now conforming to?
So it's not a state requirement in that when I usually come in and say state requirement, it's a mandate from the state, right? This is this is kind of a carrot almost, between a carrot and a stick. This is a carrot to encourage cities to adopt these standards so that residents are able to access funds. But we are not required to adopt these. This is just something that was adopted so it was a recommendation in the Water Conservancy plan and the Water Master Plan that was adopted by the council as well.
Do we have any data on possibly how many people are applying for this program in other cities, or how much funding this program has and how long that will last?
I don't.
So we don't know if this program's going to last 1 year and the money's going to run out and won't get renewed, or it's going to be 10 years?
It's been being refunded, not refunded, but re-upped,
Okay.
every legislature almost.
How long has it been in place?
I think at least 5 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have most other cities adopted these?
A lot of them have. For example, I know Chad had mentioned, the director, or Chad Wilkinson, Layton did not adopt them, but a lot of cities have. I think you also take into consideration that Murray is in a unique spot in that we do have our own water utility program too, right? So like the Jordan Valley Water Conservancy District, I think that's in their standards now, that you have to do it. And so it's kind of a double-edged sword type thing.
Chair Richards, can I ask you a question? You had mentioned in the pre-meeting that you had done some water-saving changes to your landscape, but you kept some turf. Can you explain, like, how much turf you kept and why?
It was more of an aesthetic reason, so I kept maybe 15%
In the park strip?
in the park strip,
Okay.
Blasphemous.
and I didn't qualify after that.
Okay.
I have another question, Zach.
Yeah.
So in our pre-meeting, we pretty much focused on residential and realized that this water saver rebate program could apply for commercial properties as well. So how does this impact the requirements that the city has for, say, somebody's requesting conditional use permit, and now they have to put in new landscaping?
Mhm.
So how does this impact that? For example, you got X number of feet of
Yeah, so the
park strip that I need to landscape.
Yeah,
So now
so,
I can put in gravel and don't have to landscape?
nope, you still do. So the way our landscaping ordinance reads for commercial properties is it's 3 trees, 5, no. Oh my gosh. I've been doing this for almost 8 years. I can't believe I've forgotten. It's 10 1-gallon shrubs, 5 5-gallon shrubs, I think, per every 100 linear feet. That's the only requirement. It doesn't require turf. So what often happens are things like we have out here on Hanover, right? It's a mix of shrubs and trees and gravel and not turf.
So that doesn't necessarily have to go in a park strip.
No, it doesn't necessarily have to go into a park strip, no.
So if there are properties that have park strips, there are properties that don't have park strips.
Yep.
Um,
They're still subject to those requirements. They would still, during the conditional use process, they still would have to rip out.
I'm thinking of the properties that, there are numerous they're not parcels, they're numerous, businesses within one building
Mhm.
on a parcel. Their fence comes right up to the sidewalk. But there's still landscaping requirements that business has to comply with.
Mhm.
So I guess I'm having trouble discerning if they if they have a park strip and they put gravel in it, do they still have to put all the rest of the landscaping in?
Yeah, they would still, I mean, because that's what we require by code, right? They could either be in the park strip or it can be within that 10-foot that's required in all
What if they want to
commercial
go for
properties.
this water conservancy benefit?
I'm sorry?
What if they want to go to get the water conservancy benefit and say, well, if I have all these requirements of putting shrubs and trees in,
Right, yeah, I
It's
mean,
kind of-
that's still, that's, what mostly we're restricting is lawn, right? We're not saying don't have planted material, we don't want that. We don't want just a barren, nothing anywhere. We do want it to be landscaped. I think that it's just removing the lawn aspect. You can have landscape without lawn.
got it.
So
The landscape still needs water.
from what I understand, and tell me if I'm incorrect here, to get the rebate, I get $1.50, I think is what it is right now, per square foot in my park strip for what I change, correct?
I think it was closer to 3.
Okay, whatever it
Yeah,
is.
yeah.
Whatever the
An amount of
monetary
money.
amount
Yeah.
is, I get a per square foot amount,
Mhm.
but it is only in the park strip, correct? It is not only in the
No,
park strip?
it's, I believe everywhere that you're applying for.
I think you're
Front,
talking
side,
about
rear.
two different programs,
Yeah,
because
there
you're
was
talking
a
about flip your strip.
Well, that
And
was my
you're
ne-
talking about the
That
water
was my next
savers.
question,
Oh, okay.
but my next question was flip your strip, but
Okay,
I'm not talking about flip your strip, but I do
Okay.
want to talk
Okay.
about that.
Yeah,
okay.
I'm quickly just looking at this thing because I probably should have looked at it closer. But the information I was just getting quickly was, it was just your park strip.
yeah, no.
And so that's not the case.
No, it can be your entire yard, it can be a portion of your yard, whatever you're doing.
So I redo my entire front yard according to whatever their requirements are. I
Mhm.
get a per square foot monetary amount.
Yeah.
For whatever amount I do.
Yeah.
Okay. And then the Flip Your Strip program, that's a Murray program, is that correct?
Yeah, I believe it's a wider program, but yeah, Murray participates in it.
Okay. And then would we be allowing these residents to get money from this Flip Your Strip program and from the other program?
I knew as soon as the Flip Your Strip came up, I don't know the answer to that one. I would anticipate, I'm not even going to guess. I'm assuming no, but I
Okay.
don't dare.
But to confirm, to be able to, anybody to have access to these programs, we need these requirements in our code?
For the Utah Water Savers, Flip Your Strip, we already have.
Okay.
Do we want to debate lawn versus turf? I pulled up a different definition, which would validate what Ned was saying, but we don't have to go there. Do we do a public comment on this?
I don't think we have yet.
Or do we do one, though?
Yeah,
right?
you do
Okay.
one,
So,
yes.
any other additional comments before I open public
Was that you
comment?
telling me to sit down?
Yes, please. Okay, I'll open the meeting up for public comment.
Hi, I'm Rachel Palmer. I live at 774 West Trip Lane. I'm a single homeowner. I love living in between Riverview and Beaumont Junior High. And I just want to add my support to these amendments. I was really interested in doing the Utah Water Savers program, and I was quite frankly pretty surprised when I saw that Murray was not on the list of eligible cities. I feel like Murray leads the way in so many things that we do, like with running our own school district, our own power plants. There's so many things that I'm really proud that Murray leads the way on. So I've been taking landscaping classes at the University of Utah through their continuing education program, and have been learning a lot about water sustainability and how to make landscapes still beautiful without just doing gravel or and also minimizing the use of lawn. So I just want to say that all of those portions of the code are also backed up by science. Things like you can't really sustainably irrigate less than 8 feet areas of water just by the way the water flows through the soil and things like that. So maybe without that background, they look kind of arbitrary, but they were created for the Utah Water Savers program because there's science that backs all that up. So I'm Rachel Palmer, and I would just like to support that we approve these amendments.
Thank you, Rachel. Super helpful, especially the science around the 8 feet.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, I don't see any additional public comments, so I'll close the public comment period. Any additional discussion amongst the commissioners? Okay, seeing none, I'll ask for a motion.
Chair, I'll make a motion that the Planning Commission forward a recommendation of approval to the City Council for the proposed amendments to chapters 17.08 definitions and 17.68 landscaping requirements as reviewed in the staff report.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Do I need to start again? I forgot about that.
I think when you ask for, is there discussion on the motion, then you can amend your motion.
Okay.
Any discussion on the no.
No, we need to get a second first.
Sorry, I have a second.
That was my
from,
bad.
Commissioner Kling. So let me back up. So I have a motion from Commissioner Rogers and a second from Commissioner Kling that the staff or the Planning Commission approve to the City Council for the proposed amendments to Chapter 17.08 definitions and 17.68 landscaping requirements as reviewed in the staff report. Any discussion on the motion?
Yes, I would like to add and amend the definition for lawn to include turf grass. Is that what it was? Yes, turf grass.
So I think technically you would say I would like to amend my motion to
Okay.
include the amended, and you can just say the amended definition
Definition?
as we discussed.
Okay, I would like to amend my motion to include the amended definition of lawn to include turf grass.
Perfect.
There we go.
Thank you. I agree with that. All right, let's take a roll call vote.
I think we're good, right? Do I need to have them do another second? Okay, never mind. We're good. We're good. these Robert's rules things, they
Oh.
drive me crazy.
No, it's okay.
Okay. Commissioner Rogers,
Yes.
Commissioner Kling,
Aye.
Commissioner Hildreth,
Yes.
Commissioner Pearson,
No.
Commissioner Hacker,
Yes.
and Chair Richards.
Yes.
Okay.
Congratulations to us. Thank you. It was the turf, wasn't it? All right.
It wasn't the turf.
Okay, moving along to the last agenda item, the land use ordinance text amendment for residential yard exceptions amendments.
Perfect. Yeah, thank you. This is an amendment to all residential zones, the yard exception standards, allowing roof extensions into the front and rear setback areas. The easiest is that it amends every section of the code with this exact language. So it really, that's a lot of text. So I realized that at a time, and I realized I didn't have a lot to say, so I was like, I'll just draw some pictures. So you guys get really rudimentary shapes. So here's an example. So say like you have a house with your typical 25-foot front and 25-foot rear setbacks, and you want to add on to that. Is that as hard to see for you guys on the screen? It's awful
looks great.
up there. You can hardly see that. Right? So if you would like to do like a patio cover, or you want to extend your porch a bit, you are allowed to do up to the width, half of the width of your dwelling. So that shaded area, you can do about half of that. So say like you do that, so you get about this, right? So with that, with the setback extensions, in the rear yard, you can do half of your rear yard setback, but no closer than 10 feet.
Zach, can I just clarify? You're stating what it's going to be
Yes.
if we approve this, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Yep. And in the front yard, you can encroach up to 7 feet into your front setback, but no closer than 20 feet to the property line. So for example, this house specifically would only be able to extend about 5 additional feet. The one in the back would be able to get the full like 12 feet that they could go. That's half of the setback, 12 and a half feet. So an example of that is something that looks kind of like this. Thanks, Google. So the roof or canopy, this is another standard. The roof or canopy is entirely open on 3 sides except for supporting columns and customary architectural features. And then the columns supporting the roof are on individual pad footings or similar design. Yeah, so I think that's the best way to explain it than me try to explain it in text. So with that, public notices were sent to affected entities and on the city and state websites. No comments have been received on this one. Our findings are promotes objective 3 of the neighborhoods and housing section of the general plan. It's been reviewed to ensure health, safety, and general welfare of the community are maintained, and staff finds that the proposed amendment does not conflict with any recommendation in the general plan. Now, I apologize for whoever's going to read this, but staff recommends that the Planning Commission forward a recommendation of approval to the City Council for the proposed amendments to all those zones, as reviewed in the staff report.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any discussion, question?
I had a quick question, or clarification. I did like those pictures. I just want to make sure, did I understand that correctly, that as it currently is, if you go back to what it currently is, right there. So half of 25 feet would be what, 12 and a half feet? If you go to the next, or go to the next one, sorry. Okay, so that would be, so if I'm reading this right, currently they can go up to, say, 12 and a half feet on that? No? Okay.
So they could go, they could encroach 12 and a half feet back.
I'm talking
Right.
about the front yard though, sorry.
Oh, front yard? No,
Yes.
only up to 7.
Okay, so
Up
what,
to
so,
7, no less than this, this cannot be less than 20. Oh, under existing?
yes, existing.
Oh, under existing,
Yes.
you are not allowed to go beyond that, 25 and 25.
Oh, so I'm confused with the, one more slide up, I think.
This one?
Yeah, what is that telling
So
me
this
exactly?
allows you, so this is just kind of the area where you could,
Or where you can do
where
it?
you could do it
I
under the
see.
new code. right? So that's where I took I cut it in half, so it wasn't like all of it. So these are like little
Okay.
patios.
So the current code, not the new code, is more restrictive than the new code?
Oh, very.
Okay.
Yeah. I can just keep playing with.
No,
There you
go
go.
back to the picture. I like that one.
You like that? Yeah.
Thank you.
I found one picture like on Google and it was like a 200 by 400 pixel image and I put it on there. I was like, oh no. So I found you a nice, pretty
Thank you.
picture.
So then, sorry, my original thought looking at that was, you said it's more restrictive, so does that mean currently as is, I could go 12 and a half feet in my
No,
front
you
yard?
cannot. You can
Okay.
do 20, you
I'm
can only go to
confused.
25 and 25.
The new code is less restrictive.
Less restrictive, okay, there we go.
Correct.
Now I'm back on the
The
same.
new
page.
code is less restrictive, the current code is much more restrictive.
Okay, it makes sense now, thank you.
Yes.
That it? Anything else? All right, thank you, Zach. I'll open up the discussion for public comment. No, I think it'd be a great first one.
I make a motion.
Wait, hold on, we're
Oh.
gonna have a public motion first. No, it's okay. All right, seeing no public comment, I'll close the public comment and bring it back for any additional discussion. Zach, did you have something else?
Yeah, I'll just say, I'll give you guys an out and you can just say that you make a recommendation based on the.
Do we-
No,
I want to hear him say the whole.
Yeah.
Read it into the record.
You can just make a recommendation on the
Okay, thank you.
proposed
And does
changes.
that apply to everything going forward?
Maybe.
Okay. All right, I'll ask for a motion then.
I make a motion that the planning commission moves forward with a recommendation of the approval to the city council for the proposed amendments to 1792 agricultural A1, 1796 single-family medium-density residential district R16, 17.100 single-family low-density residential district R18, 17104 single-family low-density residential district R110, 17108 single-family low-density residential district R12, 17112 medium-density residential district R210, 17116 multiple-family low-density residential district RM10, 17120 multiple-family medium-density residential district RM15, 17124 multiple-family high-density residential district RM20, and 17128 multiple-family high-density residential district RM25 as reviewed in the staff report.
Impressive. Now say that backwards.
Thank you.
Sorry, you said R12, and so now I'm gonna have to make you say it. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
I think we got the gist of it. Yeah, so have a motion from Commissioner Hildreth. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
I have a second from Commissioner Kling that the staff recommends that the Planning Commission forward a recommendation of approval to the City Council for the proposed amendments to all of this. Any discussion on the motion? Okay, seeing none. Zach, can you take a roll call vote?
Commissioner Hildreth,
Yes.
Commissioner Kling,
Yes.
Commissioner Rogers,
Yes.
Commissioner Pearson,
Yes.
Commissioner Hacker,
Yes.
and Chair Richards.
Yes. Okay, congrats again to us. The motion is passed. And that is the end of our official agenda. Zach, any announcements or questions?
Yeah, so we do not have a second planning commission in June. June 19th is Juneteenth, so we preemptively canceled that. Day before the 4th of July, so July 3rd is your next meeting. If you're not going to be here, please let me know as soon as possible. It is going to be probably, I always say it's going to be a heavy agenda, and then for some reason, everything falls apart. But I anticipate it to be pretty hefty agenda. So, other than that, thank you all so much for what you do. These are great. I love talking about this stuff, so thank you very much.
Thank you, Zach. Yeah, I appreciate all the questions. You all ask very good questions, so thank you. Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn at 7:28.
Okay, we are adjourned at 7:28. Thank you.